watching the Mystical Green Beanie.
Hey, what's going on, dudes and dudettes? I am the Mystical Green Beanie, and welcome to my best of worst of spoiler-filled review for Logan. Now, for those of you who don't know, this was one of my most anticipated films of the year, and I think it delivered. Anyways, let's get into it, and as always, starting off with my positives, let's talk about the best of. And first things first, it's very rare that we get a comic book movie as quiet and intimate as Logan. There's no ominous threat from the sky, there's no horde of aliens or robots or whatever. It's a story about this old man trying to get this little girl to her destination, and a bunch of mercs are trying to kill them, and along the way, they unintentionally leave a trail of death behind them. It's a beautiful story, it's a tragic story, and it's a simple story. And again, we rarely get those, and on the off chance that we do, they're done in such a cookie-cutter fashion that they're not interesting. And Logan is the wonderful exception to that. Something else that I really loved about this movie was the idea of all legends having their roots in reality or having some semblance of truth behind them, which is what Logan's character arc is. And in the end, he has to become the hero that was portrayed in the comics that these kids were reading about and the hero that he used to be. And speaking of which, another thing that I really thought was cool was how meta this movie was. And I don't like using the term meta because everyone uses it, but it's true. The world as it's portrayed in this movie shows that the X-Men are relics of a bygone era, and while most of the world seems to have moved on without them, there's a lot of people who still have fond memories of them growing up as a kid and have a nostalgia for them. You know, it's almost as if James Mangold saw what was happening with the X-Men in the comics and saw how the geek community was reacting to that in real life. Finally, I love how this movie is about children taking care of their fathers, even when they feel like they don't deserve to be taken care of. And we see this in Charles, who apparently killed the X-Men after having a seizure, and how he has to live with that while Logan takes care of him. Then after Charles dies, Laura has to take care of Logan, even though the only thing he wants to do is die. And I love how Charles and Logan are killed by X-24, who is the physical manifestation of the monster that Logan once was, before Charles rehabbed him, and how Laura kills him because she doesn't recognize him as her father or anything associated with him. But yeah guys, those were my positives, but let's get into some of the things that I didn't like. Let's talk about the worst of. And starting this list off is something that is a minor thing, but I feel like it was a missed opportunity not to have Sarah Kinney be in this movie. And it's weird because Gabrielle Lopez more or less fills that role, but she explicitly states that she's not Laura's mother, and we never actually see her mom. So that was disappointing because I feel like that whole aspect of Laura's character is really interesting. And something else that I wasn't a huge fan of was the fact that Xander Rice didn't get much play in this movie, because something that I found really interesting about his character from the comics was that when Laura was still being tested on, Xander would abuse her physically and psychologically out of spite for Wolverine killing his father. And they touch on that in the movie, but Xander doesn't seem to harbor that hatred for Logan like he did in the comics, and I thought that was a bit of a missed opportunity as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, this movie was fantastic, and I completely agree with all the people saying that this was the best comic book movie since The Dark Knight. Now, I have heard some people complain that this film is too slow and that Wolverine doesn't berserker rage kill like 50 million people, and I understand why they feel that way, but this isn't an action movie. It's an old-style western, and I feel like a lot of people went into this movie expecting John Wick, but ended up with Road to Perdition instead. And again, I understand why some people were put off by that, but I wasn't. I was actually pleasantly surprised, and this might actually be one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. But yeah, those were my thoughts, but what about you? What did you think were the best and worst aspects of Logan? Let me know down below in the comment section. Also, if you like this video, hit the like button, share, support the channel, and if you want to see more content like this, all you have to do is subscribe. I'm the Mystical Green Beanie, thank you for watching, and as always, until next time, adios nachos.
I was running through the six.